You have in the notes, it says hostile takeover.
Uh-huh.
What's going on with that? What's hostile about a food pyramid?
Right. Right. That's what's unfortunate. That's what's unfortunate. Before I answer that, this was something we were going to talk about regardless.
Of course.
But then there are people in the circles that I watch as it relates to CrossFit, and a lot of those people are very outspoken about their politics, and that's fine. Whatever. I don't let it, sway me one way or the other as far as whether or not I consume their content or not.
Yeah.
But when I hear things like, finally, it's about time, the government and the higher ups are telling us to eat real food. Finally, like as if I struggled with that idea, as if like everybody was forced before to just eat cereal, fortified cereal, or like eggs weren't on the food pyramid, and like, as if all these things were always just unanimously demonized. And now suddenly it's like, well, see, we fixed this group came in and they fixed it.
Yeah. And
I struggle with the general ideology of those things on both sides, because again, the hopes are that food shouldn't be some ultra politicized thing, but it is.
Yeah.
And
it's
clearly
that way.
Yes.
You know what? Food is for all people.
Yeah. It's just like, you just hear the ideologies on both sides, clashing with this sort of thing. And so I hope to cut through some of that.
Yep.
So it's a hostile takeover because in years past, the procedural end of new guidelines was pretty straightforward. There was a 20 or so person academic committee, and usually this committee, while often criticized, for having those involved in industry, Kellogg and General Mills and those sorts of interests,
right?
They were a part of it, and then there were experts on the other end of the spectrum in that committee as well. The goal and the parameters of these committees is not to exclude financial interest altogether. It's just to say, hey, disclose your financial interests. If you have a supplement company, if you have this, or whatever the case, just state it. But then we also got to have experts kind of from each of those. Each of those, there's just no way to put anybody on a committee like this that isn't going to be biased in some fashion. So it's not a matter of
if you are an expert in your field, it's highly likely that you will be working for a large corporation that can pay you well,
right?
Because you know a lot about nutrition, or you know a lot about beef, or whatever,
right?
It's not shocking. And those are theoretically the people that you want involved in this. So yes, there's a conflict of interest, but at the same time, that's inevitable.
Exactly. So the issue in lies that the incoming administration rejected the report that this committee had been working on for 2025.
Okay.
And just said, and so this initial report, I believe you can find it. And it was more centered, and you could predict where it was going. Yep. More about health equity, more about, the social determinants of food intake, the social determinants of health that we'll mention. And this kind of just said, hey, like, we're gonna put all that on pause for right now, and we're gonna focus on the biochemistry and the physiology of what we think you should eat and why we are where we are in terms of this metabolic health decline. And so literally they installed a new team and essentially just wrote a counter report. And so it's a new committee. It's 9 members. There's really no information as to how these members were voted in or appointed. And so
we know who they are.
We do.
Okay.
We do. And all of their interests are made public. So this isn't like an attack on these guys individually for what their interests are.
Right.
It's just that when you look at these 9, 8 out of the 9 of them have industry ties. They are largely skewed towards dairy councils, beef boards, beef associations, cattle associations. So,
Wow.
so
Yeah.
exactly.
I like steak, but
Yeah.
that's a lot.
Yeah. So, again, this is like, it's fine in and of itself. These people are smart people. They're scientists. They're not like, some schlums off the street who like steak. Like, no, these are legitimate opinions.
Right.
But again, it's when you rally up the boys and girls that are all generally from the same sphere, it's going to cause a little pushback.
Yeah.
And their pushback is, well, the boards of the past were all biased towards industry, the grain industry in the 80s. And there was not enough lobbyists for beef in the 2020s. And so whether the guidelines themselves, which we'll get to, whether they truly reflect this, it's just that like, it's important to understand that this is what's going on under the hood as like how we arrived where we are. And that, and it's a little bit problematic no matter where you stand. It's off, right?
Even if everything they said is 100% correct, the fact that there are questions about these people and the process means that all of it's going to be shot through with doubt,
right?
No matter what.